Let me tell you, taking a picture of the thumbnail was not fun. I am out of breath. Hello everyone, my name is Arya and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing another massive book haul, but I don't think any book haul I do in my life will ever be as massive as the one I've done before. I gotta say, I do have quite the stacks here. These are a lot of books, so I'm hoping to get through them as quickly as possible without me rambling too much. I'll be starting in no particular order, really, just picking them off the stack as I see them. The first two books I have here were a Christmas present from one of my dearest friends, and these two books are The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson and That Inevitable Victorian Thing by E.K. Johnston. So these two books I have already read, I just didn't own a physical copy of them, so my friend happily got me the copies and I'm very grateful for that. And so I'll just try and explain in a couple of words what these are about. So starting with The Year of the Witching, this is a sort of fantasy kind of horror, but not really. And this book is set in a sort of puritanical type of community of sorts, and our main character Emmanuelle is sort of the outcast of this society because her mother was considered to be a witch and she's also of a darker complexion than everyone else, and she's looked down upon because of that as well. And there's also this like dark wood and it seems to be calling her towards it, and there's some witches involved obviously because it's in the title, and Emmanuelle seems to be getting into some sort of power as well, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this book and so I wanted a physical copy. I really love this cover and I'm very happy to have this in my hands. And this one I read earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. I listened to it on audio and it was a really good book. It really stuck with me for some reason. I really enjoyed the characters and the story, and this is sort of like historical fiction but futuristic. Like, I don't know what genre to place this in, but it's essentially set in sort of like Victorian era in Canada for the most part, but there's like advanced technology, and this technology essentially matches you up with your perfect pair based on your DNA. And our main character is coming into age and she's gonna go to her first debut ball and she wants to see who this app is gonna match her with, and there's some complications and it's quite interesting, and there's some queerness in here and it was really good. I don't know why, I don't know what exactly it is about this book, but I really much enjoyed it back when I listened to it, and I'm very happy to have a physical copy of this one as well. Next up I have Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Bouchard-Dust. This one I have read already as well. I got this as like a NetGalley e-arc and I really much enjoyed the book, and so I wanted a physical copy, and I specifically wanted this Fairy Loot edition, which is so beautiful. I really love pink and it has like the green and the green sprayed edges. This is like a dream cover for me, like pink and green, my two favorite colors put together. It's just amazing and I'm very happy I managed to get this secondhand. And this story, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like inspired by Persian mythology, which is not something you see every day, and it is also sapphic and there's like magic and fantasy, and it is a really beautiful story. I definitely recommend everyone read this. I think it needs more hype. And yeah, essentially in the book we follow our main character. Her name's Soraya and she is poisonous to the touch. So like if she touches someone, that person will be poisoned and die immediately. And so because of that, she's kind of been like hidden from the world. She's the princess of this kingdom and her parents have hidden her away. Nobody knows about her, and something happens and she meets this sort of demon of sorts, and it's like this beautiful moth girl the moth demon, her name's Parvane, I think I'm saying that correctly. She reveals some truth to Soraya, and that sets both of them on an adventure, and a lot more truths are uncovered, and honestly, it is great. I think it's overlooked and deserves more hype. The next two books I got from a trade. So I traded an arc with this amazing girl from the US, and she kindly sent these two books instead, and I am so happy to have these because I've been really wanting to read these. They're like pretty high up there on my TBR, and one of them is The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. This is the Owl Crate edition with like the green stuff going on, which again, a green, I really love green. And so this is like an Arthur retelling, but I think this is gender bent. I'm not 100% sure. So in here we follow Guinevere, and she is sent to Camelot to marry Arthur, but essentially she is not who she says she is. She's a changeling, and she's sent to actually protect him, and some stuff happens. I don't know what happens, but I've heard amazing things about this. And one of my favorite booktubers ever, Boston, she really loves this book. This is one of her favorite books ever, and I really want to read this because of her, because she made it sound so amazing, and I cannot wait to get to this eventually. Hopefully in 2021, maybe. Fingers crossed. We shall see. And the other book I got from the trade is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles. So this one is also the Owl Crate edition. I love this edition. This is beautiful, and I'm very happy to have this in my hands. I don't know too much about this book. I don't remember the synopsis. I probably didn't even read the entire thing, because sometimes I just start reading a synopsis and then I'm like sold halfway through the synopsis, and then I just stop because I don't want to know more. Because a lot of the times synopses spoil stuff that don't happen until you get halfway through the book, and I hate that. So that's part of the reason I don't really read that many synopses. And all I know about this, that there's something burlesque about it, and essentially that's it. I just heard really great things about this, and I really want to read this. I think this is going to be a duology. Really excited to get to this when I eventually do. The next book I have here is a pre-order, and that is How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This is sort of like a short story thing from the Cruel Prince series, and no, I have not yet read that series. But did I get this book? Oh yes, I did. Why did I get this book? I don't know, because I have issues, but I genuinely do think I will love this series, and I wanted to have this, especially since this is the Waterstones exclusive edition, and those exclusive editions, if you know, they get sold out lightning fast, and I didn't want to miss out on this. And in any case that I hate the series, I can always sell or donate this, so there's no harm being done. Also, this is like an amazing book, and it also has beautiful illustrations on the inside and these end papers. Here is one of the illustrations, and here is another one of them. These illustrations look amazing, and they remind me of like old school fairy tales for some reason, so I'm very happy to have this in my possession. The next two books I kind of got on a whim. I didn't really need to get these, but this is like my favorite series of all times, like of all times, and I want to eventually have every single edition of these books out there, at least the English ones, and these are just some extra editions that I managed to get for really cheap and secondhand. God bless eBay. And I'm so happy to have these. The books that I'm talking about is The Girl in the Spider's Web and The Girl Who Takes an Eye for an Eye by David Lagercrantz. I almost said Stieg Larsson there for a second. But these are book 4 and 5 in the Millennium series, and these are like the tall UK hardcovers, and I own the 6th one in this edition, and so I wanted like the later 3 books to match, because my first 3 books in the series are like the original Swedish covers. This is the only series that I have mismatched, but it doesn't matter because I want to own every edition anyways. And so I got this one because this is the Waterstones exclusive with the yellow sprayed pages, and I really wanted to own this because I have the 6th one in the same edition. I can just show you. So here's the sixth one, and this one has red sprayed pages and it is absolutely beautiful. And so I wanted to have like the matching edition. And then I got the fifth one, but unfortunately I couldn't manage to find anyone that was selling the Waterstones exclusive. I don't even know if there's a Waterstones exclusive for this, so I just settled for the regular paperback, which is perfectly fine by me. As long as they match, I am perfectly happy. If you haven't read these series, not these three particularly, please start in the correct order. Please do. This is like my favorite series ever. I'm devastated that there won't be any more books in this series. I cannot express my grief. That's what happens when the author unexpectedly dies, and then the series is picked up by this other author that eventually decides that he will not continue with the plans that the original author had to make it a 10-book series. I do have a lot of opinions on this, but this is a whole separate rant. If I start talking about these, I will never stop. I can talk about these books forever. Next up, I have a really tiny book, and this one I got for my feminist book club that will probably not be happening anymore. Who knows? But that book is The Beauty Myth by Naomi Wolf, and I've already read this. It is pretty tabbed. I really much enjoy this. It wasn't really easy to get through because of the way it's written, like the writing and just nonfiction. My brain, I don't have the cognitive abilities to understand such complicated information, and that's why I stick mainly to fiction. But this was a very good book and a very important book in my opinion. It talks a lot about beauty standards and how they came to be, and how this is a political and economic strategy to suppress women. And amazing. Please read this. Highly recommend. Next up, I have a book that I still cannot believe that I have in my possession, and that is the hardcover edition of News of Nightmares by Laini Taylor with the sprayed edges. I thought I will genuinely never get a hold of this duology in like their first edition UK covers, because they are being sold for so much money, and that is money that I'm not willing nor can I afford to spend it. So I managed to get this for a fairly okay price, and now I have both of them. Look at them, they're so beautiful. Okay, calm down. This is like one of my favorite series as well. I wish there were more books in this world. I never expected to love these as much as I do, and I don't even know where to begin with explaining what the series is, but essentially, we follow our main character, Laszlo Strange, and he is an orphan, and he has been raised by these monks, and eventually he is sent to the city to do like an errand for the monks, but he never returns, and there he ends up working as a librarian, where he finds out about this lost, mysterious city called Weep, and he wants to know more about it, and he essentially makes it his life's mission to discover everything that there is to be discovered about this lost city of Weep. And one day he gets the chance to actually go there himself. I will say nothing more, I'll just leave it at that. And this story, it is magical. It is pure magic put into words and printed on paper. This is what the series is, and it will live inside me forever. Next up, I have the sequel to an amazing series, and that is Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahirian. This is the exclusive Fairy Loot edition with the beautiful edges, and I got this one from the collector's special edition box from Fairy Loot. If you've not seen that video, I've unboxed that box on my channel, so I will link it somewhere up above. Unfortunately, I still have not gotten to the sequel, and this will probably be one of the first books that I read once the next month comes, aka January. I really loved Serpent and Dove, so I cannot wait to get into this book. I don't know what exactly happens in this one, but I can tell you what the story is kind of about. So we essentially have Lou, and she's a witch, and she gets into this predicament where she has to marry Reed, and Reed is a witch hunter. So they're both forced into marriage, and then things develop from there. Reed obviously doesn't know that Lou is a witch, and they slowly fall in love, and then there's this whole complication of her being a witch and him hating witches to death, and a lot of things happening, and it is so good. I know this is like not the best piece of literature out there, but honestly, I read for enjoyment. I don't read to be educated most of the times, and I enjoyed it, so that's all I need. And I cannot wait to get to this sequel. Next up, I have 2 editions of the same book. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is something I do. I do get multiple editions of a book that I believe I will like or I have already read and loved to death. And so the book that I'm particularly talking about now is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I have read her other 2 standalones and absolutely loved them to death. And so I was super hyped. I still am super hyped for this book, and the sequel just got announced and it looks great, and I cannot wait to get into this, and I'm hoping to get to this next year, in this upcoming year, and I'm pretty sure I will love this. So I don't know too much about this book. All I know is that there's a school that you go to learn like magic and stuff, and you either graduate or you die. So obviously things are a little complicated. This is literally a deadly education, and this is giving me like fantasy but dark academia, and love both of those, and so cannot wait to get into this. And this specific edition is the Illuminate book with the blue sprayed edges, and the other edition I have is this one right here. This is the dust jacket from Fox and Wit, and I got this because, well, first of all, the dust jacket is stunning. Look at it, it is beautiful, and look at that spine, and then the back. This is just purely amazing. But this is not the Fox and Wit edition. The book underneath is actually the Owl Crate edition of A Deadly Education, and I will show that to you right now. So here it is. It's one of those books without a dust jacket, so this is what it looks like, and then the spine and the back, and it has like golden metallic sprayed edges, but honestly, I really don't like this cover. I don't know what exactly it is about it. I'm not a fan with like the yellow here. Just I don't like it. And so I found the dust jacket and I was like, well, what the hell? I already own the US copy of this book, so I know the dust jacket will fit, and I don't like how it looks, and so this was like the perfect opportunity, and I am more than ecstatic to have both of these. I'm 100% sure I will love these, and I will treasure both of these copies forever. And speaking of Naomi Novik, I got the special editions that Illuminate made of Spinning Silver and Uprooted, and these are amazing. They both come in this beautiful slipcase, and I will just take them out so I can show you the actual books. So here is Spinning Silver. It has silver glitter sprayed edges that you can't really tell because of the lighting, but trust me, it looks amazing. And they have like special end papers, and they're absolutely stunning on the inside, and the spine is different as well. And I know that the original edition of these do not look like this because I had the normal UK copy of this book, and I have since gotten rid of it because I don't need 2 copies of essentially the same book, and since I have the special edition one, I didn't need the regular edition. And then we have Uprooted, and here it is. It is also beautiful. The end papers and the inside and the spine looks really pretty as well. And of course, both of these are signed. And if you didn't know, Uprooted was like out of print, and this like regular edition cost exorbitant amounts of money. I think I saw it sold once for like £300, just the one book, and that is like crazy for just a simple book, in my opinion. I mean, it's not a simple book, it is an amazing book. Both of these are, but that's still a lot of money for a book that is not really like a first edition classic or whatnot. So Illuminate made this amazing thing, and they printed these especially for their subscribers, and they were obviously limited, and I managed to snag myself a pair, and zero regrets. I'm honestly so happy to have these. I've dreamt about owning this edition of Uprooted, and my dream has finally become reality. And honestly, Illumicrate is doing amazing things. All of the books that I have left to show you are all from Illumicrate. I love them. They're amazing. Both of these books read like fairy tales or folklore, and I think they're both inspired by maybe like Polish legends. I'm not sure whether it's Polish, but it's something like Eastern Europe. I really love the stories, both of them, and the writing of Naomi Novik is just absolutely stunning. And both of these books give me like a certain feeling that cannot be replicated. And if you have not read either one of these books, I highly recommend you go and read them. Only a couple books left to show. So next up I have Daughter of Smoking Bone by Laini Taylor. This is again the Illumicrate exclusive. I have done an unboxing of this exclusive box on my channel, so if you want to watch that, I will link it somewhere up above. And this one, absolutely beautiful. I think the only additions with this reprinted cover available in hardcover are the Illumicrate ones. And the reason why I got this is because I've read Laini Taylor's Strange Dreamer series, as you've seen me fangirl previously in this video, and I've wanted to read her other books, and this is the other series that she has out. And honestly, opening that box with all the goodies inside made me want to read this book and this series like 10 times more. I kid you not, like, I am pumped. I'm stoked to read this series, and this cover is also very beautiful. Like, look at that. Doesn't this like creature here just intrigue you? And it also has sprayed edges because they do love making these sprayed edges. And also I need to show you the art under the dust jacket. This thing is just absolutely stunning. I don't know what all of those creatures are, but they all look fantastic and so magical and whimsical, and it just seems like this is going to be an amazing story, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this since I loved Strange the Dreamer so much. And I'm not even sure what this is about. All I know is that a devil falls in love with an angel, and that's about it. But honestly, even if I knew less, I'd still want to read this very much. Next up, I have the two books that I got in the November Illumicrate box. One of them was A Legend Born by Tracy Dion. I've heard a lot about this book. There's a lot of hype surrounding this book, and I've heard only amazing things. And what I know about this book is that it's sort of a contemporary fantasy book, and this is like an Arthurian legend retelling. And we follow our main character Bree after her mother died, and so there's a lot of grief and dealing with grief in this story. And I heard that there's a lot of darker themes like the grief in this, so if that's something that triggers you, please make sure to look up trigger warnings before you read this, because I haven't read this and I don't know what the trigger warnings are. And also in this book, Bree goes to like a new school, and on that campus she finds out about some magical stuff. There's like these secret societies, and she tries to get into these secret societies and uncover more. And it sounds like an amazing fantasy, to be honest. I didn't know too much about this book, but the more I keep hearing about it, the more amazing it sounds, and I'm quite excited to get to this eventually. And the main book in the box was The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This book I was so excited for. I'm still excited for. I don't know why I keep saying that in past tense. I'm very much looking forward to read this. I essentially don't know anything about this book, like literally nothing. All I know is that there is witches and that this is like adult sort of historical fiction, though I may be mistaken. I do know this is adult though, and I've been very much into like witch-centered books, and this is one I've been seeing around a lot. And so I was so happy when I got this in the November Illumicrate box, and I cannot wait to get to this one as well. And the last books that I'm going to haul is the Poppy War series, and this is the exclusive Illumicrate archive thing that they did. And I'm gonna put these down because they are heavy, but if you don't know, Illumicrate started this like archive thing where they reprint and make super amazing editions of like finished series that are like older, and they recently announced their next archive series, and oh my god, they're making the Infernal Devices, and they are the most beautiful things I have ever laid my eyes upon. This entire video is just me gushing about Illumicrate because they're just simply amazing. They like put out the best stuff out there, honestly, and I know I am incredibly lucky to like be able to afford most of the things that they do, and I essentially spend all my money on books and nothing else, and like that is how I am able to get most of these, because I just like scrape my money together and just throw it all on books, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but this is something that brings me immense happiness, and I will not put myself down for just getting things that make me happy. But anyhow, The Puppy War was the first archived box that they did, and we have The Puppy War, The Dragon Republic, and The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I'm just gonna hold the first book up because I can't hold the entire thing. It is too heavy. And these are amazing. They all have this like flame thing going on the spine. They're obviously all signed, and they all have this like the original cover but like printed on the naked cover, so like each has their own design. So like you see what I'm talking about. So like this thing is on the naked cover, and they're all like that, and they all also have art on the reverse of the dust jacket. So here's the Poppy War art. It is really beautiful. You could definitely see the poppies. And then the second book in the series with like the blue flame thing going on, and then it's like the naked cover and the art under the dust jacket. And the last book in the series that came out recently also has the flame things, and they're all color coordinated, which I absolutely love. I am a hoe for color coordination, clearly. And so here is the naked cover, and then the art on the reverse of the dust jacket. It all looks really pretty, and honestly, I'm so excited to get into this series. I've had my eye on this series for quite a while now, and I've heard only amazing and only the best things about this series, and I honestly cannot wait to read these. I'm hoping to get to these in 2021, but if that doesn't happen, that is okay, because there's always another year after that I can get to these books. I mean, I am in no rush to get to them because I think they're more on the adult side, but if I do get to them next year, then that would be amazing. And what I know about these books is that in the first one, there's sort of like a magical school of sorts, and I know that the magical school thing doesn't happen in the rest of the books, and there's like a war going on, and I've heard that these are like pretty dark and grim. Like, this is dark fantasy. It's not that lighthearted. I've heard that there's a lot of trigger warnings, I think, so do look out for that if you're interested in this series. And honestly, so grateful to have these. I cannot get to them. So that was it for this book haul. I don't think I'll have another book haul anytime soon because I have cut down on my book buying severely. I only have like some pre-orders that I've made a while ago, and then some exclusive editions from Illumicrate, and that is about it. So it might be a while till I make another book haul, but that is okay. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed showing all of these books to you and talking about them, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you with another video soon.